Good morning. I've been talking about the five spiritual faculties, and so far I've talked about three of them, but I need to backtrack a bit. So, the five faculties are basically two pairs, and then mindfulness, which in a way, is in the middle of all of them and applies to all of them. So, I've already talked about the first pair, which was faith and wisdom. So, why are they a pair? Well, you could say that faith is our more emotional response to the Dharma. And it's sometimes said that there are faith types and wisdom types. Wisdom types are those who like to study, perhaps, like concepts, like understanding, need to understand, perhaps, before they have any faith. So there are perhaps people that are more study based, more cognitive, more intellectual. And faith types, well, sometimes people come along and they have one look at the Buddha, a Buddha image, and something stirs in them. Something is awakened in them. There's some reality that is breaking through that image. So those are what we might call faith types. But of course, we need both faith and wisdom, and hopefully one only has a slight leaning towards one or the other. So both can take us a long way, but at some point they do need to integrate. So yes, that's by way of a bit of a recap and giving a different slant on those spiritual faculties that I've already talked about. I'm going to say a little bit more about energy or vigour that I talked about last time, but I'm going to talk about its pair as well, which is meditation. And I'm not going to have so much to say about meditation. So why are these a pair? Well, we definitely need energy in order to practice the spiritual life. And in a way, we need energy of two sorts. We need outward energy. In other words, we've got a human body and we need to use our energy. And actually, the way that we live today means that in some ways we're not encouraged to use our energy. And I think that's why a lot of people take to running or going to the gym, doing things to arouse or use their energy, because energy does need using. But actually, a lot of our technology today means that we are prevented, discouraged, if you like, from using our energy. So, for example, we can sit on our settee, we can change TV channels, we've even got devices that can close the curtains, that can set up our heating and so on. We've got all these devices that basically take the place of us moving our body and actually usefully doing things. Well, you might be familiar with Zen stories or the practice of Zen. And it's said that, without work, from a Zen point of view, without work, there's no eating. And the Zen practices put a great deal of emphasis on physical hard work. So they may do a lot of meditation, but they also do a lot of work as well. And the two balance each other. Chopping wood, grinding grains and so on. Even finding the wood before it's chopped. It was very physical. They encourage physical use of our physical energy. And that, of course, awakens energy. It allows energy to come forth. As well as using it, you're also making it. And that is offset by meditation, by sitting meditation, by sitting with awareness in the present moment. And the Buddha had various images to describe what are known as the four dhyanas. The four, you could say, levels of meditation, levels of consciousness in meditation. And you can look those up if you like, those four similes that the Buddha gave. I'm not going to go into them because I've never related to them particularly myself. So I'll leave you to find those for yourself and read about them and see if you relate to them. I think when we learn to meditate, we can get awfully preoccupied with what level we're meditating at, you know, whether we're in the first dhyana, the second dhyana, the third or the fourth. And well, it can be a bit of a red herring. It can make us a little bit too willful about how we approach meditation. One of the books that's just occurred to me that's really good at describing the different states of dhyana is one by Ayya Khema, and you could look that up. I can't remember which one of hers it is. There's plenty of books actually on meditation and on dhyana. So what would I like to say about meditation? Well, when I started meditating, I immediately kind of took to it, I would say, and I did get attached to it in rather a willful way. So yeah, I was determined to count every breath. I was determined not to have distractions. And I think in a way, it's not a bad way to start because it did stand me in good stead at the time. But eventually, my efforts failed to have an effect in meditation. And in a way, I had to I had to go backwards in a way and kind of recover myself, in particular, recover my body. So like very many people, I'm a great believer in basing meditation from the start in our felt experience, in the sensations of our body. So eventually, if we can get used to noticing the sensations, dwelling in the sensations of the body, I think what we come to eventually is understanding the body's energy, how we are nothing but energy. That's all we are really. And we can tune in at quite a deep level to the processes of the body through, you know, the beating of the heart and the flowing of the blood and so on. So we need to be present, and being embodied, being aware of our embodiment is a great way to be present in the current moment. Perhaps what I'll do is tomorrow I'll talk more about meditation. But one thing to say is that it's invaluable to do a meditation course. So just to say at the moment that the technique of meditation, so we teach 2 meditation practices at the Buddhist Center, mindfulness of breathing, which most of you are probably fairly familiar with, and the practice of the metta bhavana, or the cultivation of loving kindness. So those 2 practices together bring a kindly awareness to our experience. But I'll talk more about meditation tomorrow. Yes, just I was saying about the technique. The technique is only part of meditation. So, you know, I could tell you in 5 minutes what the 4 stages of the mindfulness of breathing are, but that wouldn't teach you to meditate, because basically we're looking to understand and change our whole mind, the way our mind operates. Not having an empty mind, that's not what meditation is, but actually having a mind that is more aware and has a more broad consciousness, a loving consciousness that can cope with the suffering of the world, that can cope with all the difficulties in our life, and that is very possible. So I'll leave it there and talk more tomorrow. Bye-bye.